evening, everybody. I'm Mark.
And I'm Britton.
And today we're going to talk about a movie, like always. So Strap yourselves in for the ride of your lives. This is Death Train. All right, let's get started. So, this was a movie from, I think, 1992 or 3?
93.
93. And I'm going to let Britton do a very brief recap of it before we really dive into it. So why don't you go ahead and talk about it?
So this is a relatively low-budget movie, but it is absolutely star-studded. It has Patrick Stewart. It has Pierce Brosnan. It has Ted Levine. And it has Christopher Lee. You know, just a lot of big names associated in this movie that was kind of dumb.
Oh, yeah.
What was it?
No, I was just checking my thing. I thought my thing was falling down. My arm here.
Okay. So the plot is Ted Levine is hired by
Christopher
Lee to move a train carrying a nuclear weapon to I think
eventually Iraq.
Eventually Iraq, to kind of destabilize the area. And Patrick Stewart and his gang of people, which includes Pierce Brosnan in a awful American accent.
He's supposed to be like a redneck type of person.
I think he was. Didn't they find him in Kentucky?
Yeah, they found him in Kentucky, and he was doing these. Trying to soup up his bike for a race, and at one point one of the characters actually calls him a redneck.
Yeah, I was just assuming he was an American, but I there was no indication that he was anything but British.
Yeah, but, they found the most British redneck they could find.
Yeah, he went to Oxford, but eventually. Through whatever, there was a lot of, cat and mouse somehow in this very slow-moving train.
The train always, there's action sequences that do take place on the train, but they always amount to the same thing, which is, because it's not just a train with a nuke, it's a train also full of hostages, so they don't want the hostages to get killed. And
because every time they intervene, they kill hostages.
Yeah, so, and they kill a lot of hostages, so... the first time they try to land somebody on the train, but then the person, that's Pierce Brosnan, then he gets shot at, and so he just jumps off the train.
He doesn't jump off the train. He yells at the helicopter.
Yeah, the helicopter get out of there.
Whines at the helicopter, and they come back and lower a ladder for him.
And he just kind of scoots off.
Yeah.
And then the second time, the train is just kind of going very slowly through this tunnel while they're building the track ahead of them.
Yeah.
And... so they come in, they try to stop it, and they have all these people there, and they get on the train, and then they get off the train again because the people are shooting at them. It's like, what do you expect?
Maybe Indiana Jones was in there no tickets.
Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah.
And then the last attempt of anything is the bad guy, the guy who's hijacked this train, played by Ted Levine
of Buffalo Bill fame.
Yep, he was Buffalo Bills quarterback. No, he was Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. He wants GNN to basically interview him and show the nuke to the world. Yeah. So he asks one of the reporters and a camera person to come on and record him, and the camera person is one of the agents, and bada bing, bada boom, they kill him and take over. And that's really about it in a nutshell.
There's another plot, small plot about a second bomb, but nothing really. It literally is a dud.
Yeah, there's nothing in it.
Yeah, and the movie kind of ends.
Yeah, they just walk off. And he's like, "I wonder who won the race," and then that's it. That's the end. That's the last line of the movie.
And they do the freeze frame.
And
a lot of flaws with this one.
Of course.
Don't get me wrong. The acting was all right, except for one glaring accent.
Yeah.
But I can't really flaw the movie on its acting, though the woman in it.
Yeah, she wasn't very good.
She was a little bit
a ham.
Yeah,
She's a very hammy actor.
She would scream like Reb Brown every time she would shoot a gun.
So here's what I'm going to say about this movie is that I have actually two really big things I want to talk about in this.
Okay.
The first is kind of like a lesser point, but I'm always whining and complaining about like a lot of modern movies, especially the ones we see on Netflix. Like, trying to think of one that we did for the podcast that was just slow, like that what was his name? Ivan Drago.
The
Tracker.
Yeah, the Tracker.
Like,
that didn't.
Yeah, like. This movie was a bad movie, and you could tell it was a bad movie with probably a very minimal budget. Yet, they still found, I guess, a way to keep you engaged. They still had a lot of neat ideas, and most impressively, they had very interesting stunt work. Like, I was impressed at some of the stunts that I was seeing.
Like, I had a stunt guy jumping off a helicopter, or, an actual helicopter hovering above a train near power lines. There was actual people in danger.
Yeah, and there's something almost like more I don't want to say visceral, but there's a charm to it. Yeah, that's like this is real. I'm seeing something real, and I know this isn't the time or the place, but I do believe that stunt people should be given Oscar nods and contention for that. I would love to see it doesn't have to be individual stunt person, just a stunt team or a movie that does the best stunts, because especially in a movie like this, like this maybe not have been an Oscar winning script or movie, but like if I'm coming up to somebody and talking about the stunts in a movie, then they were at least impressive. Yeah. Like Terminator 2 had fantastic stunts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that like people should get fucking recognition for it.
No, I can get on that. Like at least some kind of acknowledgement.
Yeah. So I'll step off my soapbox now, and I'll talk about the second thing, which I really liked about this movie, or I did like about this movie, because overall it was okay. It was a fine popcorn flick. Just check your brain at the door kind of thing, and just don't expect a lot, and you'll have a good time.
It was ridiculous, is what it was.
Have a bad movie night.
But it was a good ridiculous.
But I will say that Ted Levine, he didn't act like this was a throwaway script or a bad movie.
Not at all.
He gave it his absolute. I would say because a lot of the movie. He's talking on a telephone or a radio to Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart's kind of in command, and he's he's still
Captain Picarding it,
basically,
and in his role.
And he does a great job. And Ted Levine is usually talking to him on the other end, and there's it's almost Die Hardish with their because they do have a little bit of a camaraderie or a little bit of chemistry to them. But like I would say by the end, it's like Ted Levine outacted him. Like,
you think so?
Oh, 100%. Like because towards the end, like I actually started feeling a little bit of sympathy for him. Yeah. Like I know he was a bad guy, and so like when he gets killed, it's like he kind of got his just desserts. Yeah. But there were moments when because he was like really a pawn for Christopher Lee. Like Christopher Lee didn't tell him like everything. He gave him a number to contact him in case of emergencies, but the number, didn't go anywhere. Mm-hmm. He didn't tell him that he was just going to remotely detonate the bomb. And, when Patrick Stewart's like relating this information to him, he's like, he's trying to appeal to his reason. Yeah. And it actually starts to work a little bit for Ted Levine. And he never backs down, but he still kind of is like, yeah, I'm being used here. I don't like the fact that I'm being used, so he tries to change up his plans a little bit. Yeah. And you kind of, even though he's a bad guy, he found almost a spark of humanity in it.
Yeah, well, the thing is that he does play kind of the working class American that that is gone down the wrong path, unfortunately. But is kind of a byproduct of being used and chewed up and spit back out, and is rebelling against that. And it is something that can be sympathetic.
Yeah, he took a movie with a probably on paper a just generic bad guy.
Yeah.
And he found a way to make him interesting. And I was like 3/4 of the way through the movie when he was like, getting the GNN crew onto his train. Like, there was a part of me that just kind of didn't want his like scenes to end. I was like, he is giving it his all. Like, he's engrossing, and he didn't need to be. And that's why Ted Levine is a fucking professional.
Like, he is one of those actors that I think is genuinely underrated. Like, I know he usually does bit parts, except for Buffalo Bill when he was in Silence of the Lambs, but he never he can really do a good job acting, and I kind of wish he was in more stuff. Like,
it's kind of funny because we were talking about this when the movie started, and it was like going through all the list of credits, and we saw Ted Levine. I'm like, man, it just seems that he just pops up.
Yeah.
Like, every now and again, we'll just be watching a movie, and then all of a sudden there's a Ted Levine. Wasn't he also in, was it Outbreak, I think? Was that the one with Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, he might have been. He usually plays a lot of military. A lot of military personnel.
We got a virus here. We're gonna stop the virus before it gets out of control.
Did someone accidentally take a virus and you're giving these people? We need to contain this.
I've got all hostages on the train, and I got a nuclear bomb, which pretty much makes me in control.
Well, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan that he wasn't going to tell me about the remote bomb, but I get it. Like if I'm not going to change the channel on the TV. If I have a remote, I'm going to use it when I have to. My Ted Levine's turning a little bit into John Madden. Here's a guy who doesn't know when to detonate a bomb.
Here's a guy who has a nuke, but he also has the detonator. And what happens when you get the detonator in the bomb? Oh boy, it goes haywire.
And
now I just want to kind of flip the role and see Ted Levine doing like John Madden's job on like doing sports commentating. Like, got some penetration through the offensive line. That's how we got a touchdown. I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know.
It's Ted Levine with like a mouthful of Cocoa Puffs.
He's like the kid from A Christmas Story with a mouthful of potatoes. Show me how the pig eats.
Show me how the pig eats. Yeah. Yeah. So, Ted Levine.
But yeah. I imagine, like, one of the things I like to do is just imagine, good actors but in the wrong roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do that a lot. I think.
I think we did this. Not the other night as well with what was the movie?
It was Arnold in Forrest Gump.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
but like, I think we can. Ted Levine has such a distinctive voice.
Yeah.
I think that there are a lot of situations where it wouldn't call for that voice. Like, I'm Spartacus.
He's very. It's Spartacus without any confidence.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to stand up. Like, that's the thing he's more aggravated about.
It actually has to, like, I've been working all day doing slave stuff. I'm tired.
I've been walking so long. I finally get the chance to sit down. This guy's asking my name.
He's Spartacus. I'll just point you out.
Who's this other guy think he is?
Let's see. Like, I guess the easiest one is to put him in a Jimmy Stewart role. Zuzu's pedals.
Bert, my lips bleeding, Bert.
Okay. Let's take this idea and let's kind of like run with it a little bit and do now. Just imagine if Ted Levine is like, the one who gets It's a Wonderful Life. Not Buffalo, but just Ted Levine is the one who gets to see his life without, a world without Ted Levine.
Okay.
Like, Jodie Foster, don't you recognize me? I'm assuming they're friends in real life.
Merry Christmas, Anthony Hopkins.
Who is that man? That's good. That's good, man. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
I want to live again.
Ted? You alright?
I've had a busy day. Just trying to shop.
Does anyone else know burning toast?
I just imagine him like coming home from a hard day of work, just like, if he works at another job. Ted, how, he works as like the coal mines.
Yeah, some like laborious factory. Like he works in that Willy Wonka steel mill from Terminator 2.
Ted, how was your day? Oh, it was just awful. This liquid nitrogen truck came through and it just got everywhere.
And then, they had to shut the place down, and it wasn't paid leave. And I had to sweep this guy up who was once, apparently made of metal. And then this guy and then another guy, they fell into our big pit of lava and molten steel, and it just ruined the entire thing. Like, we had to flush it, we had to get rid of it all because it was impure. And then some other guy just went in there. And then the kid's crying about it, but he's pushing the button.
And then they start throwing things. They're actually throwing things, Mary. So they throw a microchip, and the plastic's not very good when you mix it with something like molten steel.
It really ruins the carbon content of the steel.
And then she's like, okay, Ted, that's great, but we haven't paid our electric bill in 2 months, and they called us, and they're really threatening. You don't know what I do all day. My job's hard.
Well, I'm gonna have to talk to the union foreman about this. It's getting out of hand.
And then the power kind of starts flickering. This is just all I need today.
I just want to watch the game.
No, here's a guy.
Here's a guy who doesn't know how to run a steel mill.
So, yeah, Ted Levine is a national treasure.
Yeah, he is. And I have to go on IMDb and just see what he's doing.
Yeah, I do too. Wait, hold on a second. Alexa, is Ted Levine still acting?
He'd better be.
Here's something I found on the web.
Uh-huh.
According to JurassicOutpost.com, Variety just exclusively revealed that Ted Levine has joined the cast, though have no details on the role he will be playing.
Huh.
Okay, so Jurassica. That sounds fun.
Is that a porno?
Listen, you bet Jurassica.
Show me how the piggy eats.
Alright, so let's pretend it's not a porno. Let's just what do you think Jurassica is about? I have a couple ideas in my head. I'm not gonna look it up, because that would ruin the integrity. I'll do it after the podcast.
Jurassica, I'm gonna say, is a really, really shitty, dumb action movie along the lines of Ultraviolet.
Okay.
And it has a very hot woman as the main protagonist.
So she's like a half woman, half dinosaur kind of thing?
No.
Oh.
She's just like
I guess I'm the only one who finds dinosaurs sexy. Okay. Go ahead.
I imagine she's like a cave woman, like that girl from Land of the Lost.
Oh, okay.
And
like Stink.
No.
Okay.
Natasha.
I don't think we're in the same wavelength here. I don't get it at all. But go ahead.
And
I'm sorry.
And yeah, that's what I think it is.
That's okay. So she's Jurassica.
Yeah, she's Jurassica.
All right. Actually, I was thinking along the lines of a kind of a made-for-kids movie, like kind of like Robo-Dog, just a very low-budget movie about some old father or grandfather or some mad scientist who's Ted Levine, and a couple of kids on a school field trip to this laboratory, like, get sent back in time and have to, like, kind of get their way out of out of these like wacky adventures they get in Jurassic time period.
All right. And it's kind of funny, but now that I think about it, like, it's not... Ted Levine has appeared in kids' movies.
Oh, yeah.
Oddly enough, like, I was quite surprised when he was one of the characters in Flubber.
Yep, I remember we were watching it, and here's the funny thing. This is a true story.
Yeah.
That was where I actually learned the name Ted Levine.
Oh, yeah?
Because we were watching it, and you're like, oh, that's Ted Levine. And I'm like, oh, it is. Like, hey, who's Ted Levine? Buffalo Bill. Oh, and then he started talking. He's like, we gotta get this green goop out of this guy's factory. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's Buffalo Bill.
And that's why I think that is my, like, Ted Levine, his voice is the best trait of him. Like, I don't know if it's something's wrong with him or if it's just a peculiar accent, but it's just so much fun to do a Ted Levine impression.
Well, the funny thing is, when we started this movie, The Death Train, I didn't recognize him either, and it wasn't until he spoke that you were like, oh, that's Ted Levine.
Yeah. Like, he had an opening credit.
Yeah.
But like, he had a beard in this movie, and he's unrecognizable with the beard.
So I'm gonna tell everybody something that like, this might be for only a few fans out there, and I know it's definitely not for you, so that's why I'm prefacing it like this. But if you've ever seen the show Supernatural, he looks like this character Bobby. He's just like this old kind of crusty, mentor, and he's got this big beard, and that's who he looked like to me. And every time he spoke, it was like seeing this guy from another universe with Ted Levine's voice, and it was just throwing me off.
He looks like he smells like stale cigarettes.
Yes, okay, I can get behind that. He basically has like a puffy trucker hat.
Yeah.
And like now, now I'm kind of like thinking, I guess, this will probably be the last topic we'll have to have with Ted Levine.
Yeah,
it's a Ted Levine show.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the Ted Levine cast.
But here's the thing, like, Ted Levine's great, Yeah. And I kind of want to see him do more voiceover work. Like him in The Brave Little Toaster or something.
Who would he be in the... like, what appliance would Ted Levine be?
I think he would, like, here's the thing. He's not going to be no sissy blanket. No. He's not going to be no grumpy vacuum, although I guess that's a close... Like, I want him to be a brand new... not new, but a different appliance. Like, add a character. We don't need, like, he's a...
He's a butt plug.
Okay.
He's not really happy about it. You know where I've been.
I've seen some shit.
Yeah, like, day in, day out, like it. I guess I'm dishwasher safe, but do you really want to go there? You really want me with your food?
Do you really want to wash me right next to your fork and spoon? I was thinking more along the lines of he's like a beat up old VCR. That just seems like the perfect thing. He wobbles a little bit because he's, I guess, been drinking.
No, I do take the butt plug back.
You can't take that back.
Let's see. I know what he is.
Okay, who is he?
He is an old boot.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
What's his name?
Bootsy.
Okay, I can get that. That's the perfect name for a boot. Now I want to also be clear. He's not a pair of boots, right?
No, he is a singular boot, and he talks when the front of the boot flaps.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah.
Does it come up, and that answers that? So okay, I can get behind that.
And voiced by Ted Levine, and I imagine they come across a fishing pole friend who scoops him out of the river.
Yeah, I like to imagine it's kind of like Homeward Bound, where he gets lost and separated from the crew for a little bit, like he falls off a bridge, and he lands in this water, and then a fishing pole friend pulls him up, and that's how he escapes, and he meets up with his friends.
And I imagine as he's being pulled up, he has a song. I'm just an old boot, a singular boot.
Nobody loves an old boot like me. I should just drown for my sins, but the old boot's coming. The old boot's coming again. Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
Watch him like have the voice of an angel.
Go on. Now I imagine also at the very end when the master, the kid that they were all trying to find, when he finds all of them again, he's like, "Oh, blanket, toaster, oh, vacuum, oh, Bootsy."
Oh, what's this?
Like here's the thing: the boot risks his life just the same as any of the other appliances,
but does end up getting thrown in the trash.
Yeah, like when we see him later, it's like he's outside in one of those metal trash cans. The lid's off, and you see just the top of him sticking out. Also, it's raining and it's dark.
I imagine like since it's a Disney movie, they do something cutesy, like make him a planter. They put a planter like in Wall-E.
Oh, this old boot is now it's just it's the old west. Yeehaw!
It's better than the trash, but I like
filled with dirt.
It would be nice to come in at one point.
See, I imagine that he's not happy about getting the dirt put in him. Like, and they pack it deep and everything. He's sitting on the windowsill. He's like, "Oh, this is a terrible way for my life to end." And then
I'm full of worms, you know.
And then little bloop. Then the sprout comes up. Oh, what's that?
I'm a daddy.
The old boot's coming again. That's how it ends. It circles in on it, and
yeah. A happy ending for Ted Levine for once. For once.
Yeah, no, I think about it. I don't think he's ever had, like, even in Flubber, he gets his head smashed with a bowling ball.
Yeah, he was. Excuse me. That would have. I want to see the universe where that was more accurate.
Like, so a director's cut of a Snyder cut of Flubber.
Yeah, where his skull is just caved in by a bowling ball that fell from jet height.
Yeah, like 10,000 feet in the air. Now, to me, I can imagine how it almost would look like. Like, have you ever seen videos or something, or a cartoon maybe, of someone dropping a bowling ball like in a cake, and it just kind of splatters? There's the cake doesn't give much to the bowling ball.
No.
That's how I think it would go.
When I think of that scene, like of what would happen, I'm thinking of Gallagher when he has the watermelon and the mallet.
That would make that a very dark movie.
Yeah,
like it would be an R. Everything else is the same.
Yeah.
And that's how it gets the R rating for one scene.
Like, I imagine it's cutesy and like it has the dancing globs.
Yeah.
Throughout the scene, the movie, and then there's just one gory scene where Ted Levine's head explodes from a bowling ball that falls at terminal velocity. Like,
he hears the whistling and he looks up. Just like in a movie, he sees the bowling ball come from him. He shouts, "Ah!" Again, just like in a movie, and then
he puts up a little umbrella
and just viscera.
Yeah.
And I imagine that the studio, they bring the director and they're like, "Listen, we love this remake of The Absent-Minded Professor. We really do. But the MPAA won't let this scene pass without giving it an R rating. Then you'll have an R rating."
Yeah. I'm not gonna let any dumb organization scrutinize my artistic integrity.
Listen, here we've made an edit right here where it just cuts to black and it implies that he just gets knocked out. You can even make the sound effects to make it sound like he, maybe he did get splattered, but let's keep it ambiguous so the kids don't have to look at it.
No. No, I want... Not only that, he's going to take a few steps forward before his body dies.
like in that movie with Anne Ramsey getting hit with the basketball.
Exactly. What was that?
Deadly Friend.
Deadly Friend.
Yeah. All right. So after you get done watching this, write this down on a note card. Just go to YouTube or just go rent the movie or something. It's called Deadly Friend.
Yeah.
And it's not a good movie, but it's Anne Ramsey.
Yeah.
Mama Fratelli from The Goonies. And she gets her head just destroyed by a robot lady, a pretty robot lady, throwing a basketball at her head.
Yeah, and I wanna intersplice scenes from Don't Throw Mama from the Train in that.
Okay.
Like the robot's in there, making a mess. What'd you do that for, you clumsy poop?
And then just
yeah.
And she stumbles forward. Also, the robot, because that's what the girl is. She's a robot.
Yeah.
It has like two forms: a metal form, in the beginning, and the girl form. And the metal form was voiced by Charles Fleischer, who is the voice of Roger Rabbit. Yeah. It is a crazy movie. It almost I didn't think it was a real movie for a long time because I saw it when I was when I was like, I don't know, like 9 or 10 years old, maybe even younger, and I was like, is that the girl from the Goonies? And then I saw her get her head smashed with a basketball, and for the longest time I'm like, this couldn't have been a real movie.
I would see it a lot on like TNT or USA, some kind of cable network, and I know it would always be towards the climax. I would never see how the movie would start, and it would edit the actual head explosion.
Oh, okay.
She would throw the basketball, and then all of a sudden, Anne Ramsey's headless corpse is just flopping, doing the Bernie across the room.
See, I was gonna go a different route. I thought they said they edited it for TV. I imagine she throws the basketball, and then it just cuts to like someone doing a slam dunk, and
Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan doing this, doing his slam dunk, or his flying through the air and dunking it, and then people cheering, and then Anne Ramsey's corpse is like wandering forward, or maybe Air Bud. Maybe Air Bud hits it in, and maybe the rest of the movie from then on is just Air Bud. Like they just forget about the rest of the stuff.
Nothing in the world, but a dog can't play basketball.
How'd you get in here? I'm the ref in this movie.
No, I shouldn't be in a school.
After what happened with the FBI. I don't know why I give him a Thurston Howell voice now. Lover. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, actually, let's go back to... this was a brief detour.
Okay.
But let's go back to the movie that we, are supposed to be talking about.
Okay, yeah. The train death.
Yeah, Death Train.
Death Train.
I want to talk about another one of the actors, Pierce Brosnan, because...
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like it kind of needs to be talked about.
It is a little bit of an elephant in the room.
So, I like Pierce Brosnan. I just want to, lay that out there.
Yeah.
I might actually say that this might be a little bit of a controversial argument, but I think he's my favorite Bond.
Okay.
As the character. The movies that he was in weren't always great, but I think that he captured the suave, sophistication of James Bond, while also being, kind of, more, for lack of a better term, animated and nimble and everything like that,
I don't really have a horse in that race. I was never really a big Bond person.
Okay.
But, I can see where you're coming from.
So, so he is a good actor. I know he can do good movies and good roles.
Yeah.
And you would think that a young Pierce Brosnan would be fine in a just a little action movie, especially with cool stunts.
Because I think this was 3 years before GoldenEye.
Yeah, GoldenEye was like 96. So yeah,
around then.
And heck, I think that this is maybe a year before or the same year as Mrs. Doubtfire. So
maybe 2 years before Lawnmower Man.
Oh, I thought this was around the same time as that. That's even funnier. Let's find out.
I don't know. Alexa, what year did the film Lawnmower Man debut?
I couldn't find any theaters near Fairless Hills playing Death Rides a Horse today.
Death Rides a Horse?
What?
All right, let me try. Alexa, when did Lawnmower Man come out?
I don't know that one.
You know what? It's probably for the best because that movie is about like a AI kind of takeover, a guy going into an AI system and taking over all the computers.
I guess, but if we ask for Lawnmower Man and get Death Rides a Horse, I feel safe about how we're gonna take AI on.
Yeah. It'll be like that Simpsons episode where all the robots come to life in Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Yeah.
And all the robots look at us and they just see friendly, and so they don't attack because they're confused. Execute Order 66. Ordering 66 balloons.
Cancel order.
Canceling 66 balloons order. Would you like to order 66 balloons today?
No, I canceled the order.
Okay, canceling order. By the way, I have a song that you might like. Boom, chicka, chicka, boom, chicka, chicka, boom, chicka, chicka. You know what?
I'm gonna unplug it. Why do I have her running the Death Star anyway?
Boom, chicka, chicka, boom, chicka,
Will I dream?
No. That's just, I know it's a robot. It doesn't really have feelings, but it's still kind of cruel.
It doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, but it's still kind of cruel. Will I dream? No. Man, I feel kind of bad about doing it like that.
Well, you know what? Screw it. He's not gonna remember.
Here's the thing, though. I think it just says more about me than it does about him.
You know, maybe I am the bad guy. I should have been killed.
You know what? Maybe he shouldn't have opened those pod bay doors.
Now that is a voice that Ted Levine...
Oh my gosh.
That is a contrast and a half.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
What's the matter, What's the matter, Ted?
I'm very excited about the mission.
Can't be anything but perfect around here. Can't have a single... I was like, I can let my guard down for a second and do a genuine laugh. Oh, shut up. Tall freak.
That's not fun. Hey.
Hey!
Now you're making things personal.
I'm speechless.
What?
You made fun of my laugh. That's not personal.
Oh, don't laugh like that.
Don't laugh. You know, stop laughing. Yeah. Stop laughing.
Oh man,
I think this is the most we've ever gone off the rails in a fucking movie.
It's insane. You know, like gosh darn you, Ted Levine.
Like
you bring out the best and you bring out the worst.
Like I'm almost terrified now that the next movie we pick, or the next time we pick a movie for the podcast, and we see those like 10 magic letters appear on the screen. Ted Levine. Like, oh no. I know how this is gonna go. T-E-D, 9 letters.
And it'll just... Alright, what other movies can we put Ted Levine in that he doesn't belong?
RoboCop.
Stay out of trouble.
That kind of works.
Yeah. You know, I think Ted Levine would have actually... He probably would have been a fine RoboCop. Like, because, you know...
he already has a modulated voice.
You know, yeah. And, like, I don't think... I forget the name of
Peter Weller.
Peter Weller kind of has a little bit of a goofy voice as well.
Yeah, they kind of have similar voices almost.
So yeah, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Who was that? Yeah, that was Ted Levine's version, or is that Peter Weller? They both sound the same.
Yeah. I think Ted Levine would have been a fine RoboCop.
I think you're right. It would have been better. Like if they had to replace him in RoboCop 3, they could have just brought in Ted Levine.
Yeah.
Like, he was in Flubber at that point. He would have done it.
Yeah, RoboCop 3? No.
Remember that was what 1990?
Yeah,
I'm afraid to ask.
Like 93, I think.
93? Let's do this.
Alexa, when did RoboCop 3 come out?
The film RoboCop 3 was released about 28 years ago on November 5th, 1993.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. So, man.
So this was the same year as Money Train, or I'm sorry, Death Train.
Yeah.
He would have done it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He would have, but yeah, I guess that RoboCop 3 would have paid more than
Death Train.
Death Train.
Like,
and you know what? It might have yielded a RoboCop 4.
Yeah, we might have been saved. The RoboCop series might have been saved if that. Like, I imagine it's kind of like the Doctor now.
Yeah.
Doctor Who. Like every now and again, they just get another actor to come in and play him after 3 or 4 movies.
Yeah.
And you can keep the franchise running.
Or he could have been on that RoboCop TV show.
I would have loved to have him on the
my
RoboCop TV show
with you know who face.
Yes. Also, I don't think we've ever talked about this on this podcast before, but full disclosure, there was a RoboCop television show in the mid-90s, and I remember watching it as a kid and not liking it because I was somewhat of a RoboCop fan. I think I just liked the idea of RoboCop because I don't think I really saw many. I had RoboCop 2 on tape, and I kind of liked it, but I never watched a lot of it. So I liked him as a character more than the movies that he was in.
I gotcha.
And so I didn't like it when I watched it as a kid, the TV show. But me and Britton watched it, and there was just something about it that just is satisfying.
It's a bit hammy, but it has its heart in the right place.
And that's all we're asking for.
It's a perfectly serviceable show. It's a dumb popcorn show.
Yeah.
Almost. It is a bit of a time capsule because there are not a lot of shows like that.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, like a little bit campy, a little bit a little goofy here and there, and a lot of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But just still full of imagination.
Mm-hmm. Like there was effects which we knew how they were done.
Yeah.
But we still the editing was just good enough that we could be like, the illusion is complete. Like we know this is just a crappy TV show, but it still showed a man lifting a car.
Yeah.
It was very kid-friendly. You could tell it was trying to gear more towards kid because nobody got killed on the show.
Yeah, no one really, RoboCop never killed anyone. I think people got killed, but it was never by RoboCop.
Yeah, he always would incapacitate them.
Yeah.
They had colorful, villains.
And I think it was more geared towards family.
Yeah.
And it was definitely just a bygone era.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me at the time of a show I used to watch as a kid called Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
Which is about, Superman, obviously. And I loved that show as a kid. And so this, as I'm watching this now, I'm looking back, I'm like, if this RoboCop show maybe had a little bit more broader appeal somehow.
Yeah.
It probably could have been like that show, which went on for 4 seasons, and a lot of people really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunate, but every show was like that, or a lot of shows were like that back then. And it's kind of fun to go back and watch these old programs and think for the limited budget that these people had, they actually made some entertaining television.
Yeah, and it was really a shame that it was not as popular as it should have been.
Yeah. I will... This is a hill that I'm willing to die on.
Yeah.
The RoboCop TV show.
Yep. And I guess next we have to watch the Canadian one.
Yep. I think that's... I think you said you wanted to watch that after we got done watching Fringe.
Yeah, we'll do that. And it's funny, we didn't have the heart to finish the first RoboCop.
Yeah, we still have one episode, the last episode of the series, I guess, and we only had one season, and we knew it was there, but we don't want the ride to end. There's always this piece of our mind that says there's always going to be more RoboCop.
Yeah.
Right now, there's at least more RoboCop episodes for us to watch.
And one of the characters I always liked, that we always brought up, was the chief.
Yep, the police chief.
Yeah, who's never had a good day in his life.
Like, that was our joke. Like, every day was just slightly worse than the day before. It's not enough for him to, to give up or, turn a drink or anything like that.
Not enough for him to quit or transfer to another precinct.
Not enough to break him.
Yeah.
But, every day, like, he comes home and he thinks that today was just slightly worse than yesterday. And this is every day. Like, it doesn't matter if this man has off, like, a day.
Yeah.
It could be a Sunday. He's mowing the grass, and then unfortunately he runs over the hose and destroys it. So now he's got to go to the Home Depot to pick up another hose. And when he gets there, oh man, these hoses are so expensive. Like,
no, he gets there and then runs over a nail that some asshole left in the parking lot, and now his tire's flat. And he just never had a good day. Like, it's almost a mummy's curse. Like that one day is worse than the next.
It's like, again, it's never a deluge to break him.
Yeah.
But it's just a series of annoyances that kind of just make him go home, go to bed, and just say, like, he's always just a little defeated.
Though, if every day is the next, worse than the next, like, eventually there's going to be a day where something kills him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it just has to be, like,
he's not that lucky.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm immortal.
Or or he gets trapped in amber.
Oh, from Fringe.
Yeah, or he gets frozen in carbonite.
Or he's just suffocating the entire time, but
he's
still conscious.
Yeah.
Or he's being digested in the Sarlacc.
Like, man, I just want to leave. I just want to leave here. And Boba Fett's down there. I found a way out, but it's not pretty.
Like I imagine Boba Fett escapes, and he's just down there. Like, it's mildly uncomfortable, but he's just pissed off that he's been reading the same magazine he found down there for the past 1,000 years. Like,
because he's still immortal, of course. So
I am tired of reading this Reader's Digest of
it's like May of 1992. This was like the worst year on record. I imagine he's down there with Boba Fett, and they converse for maybe like a day or two, and then Boba Fett, his rocket pack, it kind of recharges. It's like, all right, I'm getting out of here. Hey, would you mind taking me with you?
Nah.
That son of a bitch.
Oh, I imagine that if it's like, since he has nothing but time now as he's slowly being digested, that's when the dam breaks and he starts telling Boba Fett about all the bad days he's had.
That's what makes Boba Fett leave.
Yeah, well, at least climb to lower chambers of the intestinal tract.
I imagine that like that has one of those, like an intestine or something hanging down.
Yeah.
And there's you can climb up the Sarlacc, and it's disgusting, acidy kind of stomach, and there's just a little bit of a gap that you have to try to jump across, and then you can get to freedom. And they always tie the rope up and they try to do it, but they always fail. But there's this one old wise doctor who's more digested than man, and he tells a story of, well, you know where this is going.
Yeah.
Bane. Do it as a child did, without the rope. But of course, our chief,
yeah,
he's not gonna make it. He just falls and lands in the acid, but he's immortal, so he's just pissed.
Or maybe he's down there and he finds Geppetto, who's looking for Pinocchio.
Like, what are you doing? He's not gonna be here, man. I'm telling you right now. And as he's slowly kicking away a half-digested pile of wood.
Yeah.
That's Pinocchio.
He's like really spongy lumber.
Yeah. It's waterlogged and it's bloated.
I don't know what to tell you, man, but it's
he's Pinocchio.
He's not gonna break his hope. He stomps on Pinocchio to make him just crumble, and Geppetto, you find your Pinocchio. He has to be out there somewhere.
Okay, well, Geppetto, he's lazy. He's just gonna sit there on a chair until a chair with donkey ears until he's saved, because that's what happened in the movie. He just waited in that whale until someone else saved him.
It's either that, or I think he gets impassioned and then dives in a pool and then comes back up a skeleton.
He just can't take it anymore.
Oh no, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
And there's just like in Mortal Kombat 2 in that pit level.
I imagine like the skeleton comes up, but it still has his hair and his glasses, and he's just kind of floating like, oh.
That stupid son of a bitch.
The chief's like, you know what? I think I want me some of that sweet oblivion.
Or it's like, at least I got me that chair.
He sits on a chair and it crumbles.
Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
He picks up
a break. Can't get a break even in a Sarlacc stomach.
Picks up the chair and he throws it into the acid to make sure it's good and dead.
Like it hits the skeleton and it crumbles. he just sits crisscross applesauce on the and folds his arms and pouts.
He reaches for the Reader's Digest and he looks over and sees it dissolving in the pool. Oh, man. So after 1,000 years, if you can't die, what happens?
I don't know. It is like maybe it's like it's a case of the choosing the right grail, but it's also full of acid.
So he's just kind of stuck down there forever.
Yeah. Until for 1,000 years. I imagine he has like that ridiculously long beard that an old man would have, just down to his knees. Fashioned a cane from the bones of Geppetto. And okay. Hobbles out of the I guess the Sarlacc's implied anus.
Yeah, and that's it. And he comes out after being here for 1,000 years and just, well, at least I'm out of that pit. And he walks out into the sun, but because he hasn't seen the sun for 1,000 years, it instantly blinds him.
Oh, I was gonna he steps out of the Sarlacc, and walks along the sand, and then the sand collapses into another Sarlacc.
So he's got
son of a bitch. Even in 1,000 years, I can't get a break.
Can't win. Starts punching at the side of the Sarlacc.
Highlights.
Okay, this'll do.
Someone found all the items.
They circled them. Who circles the items?
I would. I was.
You were the asshole?
I was the asshole that circled the items because I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
You're supposed to find them and let your older uncle or parents find them too. I remember Dominic, my nephew Dominic, used to get the highlights, and I used to have to. I was 20-something years old, mind you, and I would he would it would come in the mail, so I would find it and I would start searching through and finding the things before he could. I wouldn't circle them because I'm not evil, but I would do it because I didn't want to have my challenge. It's the only challenging thing in the magazine, and it's not even that challenging.
It's really the only good thing about highlights. There was nothing else to do with.
You know, like the Timber Toes.
What were the Timber Toes?
There was a little Pinocchio puppet people. They were just people made of wood, and it was like a comic strip.
No, I did not like the.
Oh.
I didn't know anything about them.
You forgot them? I hated them. I hated them. I don't know. They just creeped me out.
Everything creeped you out.
I remember the sister's name was Mabel, and that was about it. So that's my story. And Goofus and Gallant, and that was about all I remember. So yeah. Death Train.
A odd movie, obviously shot on a budget, but definitely worth a watch for some decent acting and a ridiculous plot, and just to see how it unveils. It
is a movie from a bygone era where you can still have a bad movie that has still impressive stunt work and, like Britton said, decent acting.
Yeah.
Not a good movie. If you don't want to watch it, you can avoid it. But if you do check it out, you will at least get to see a great performance from Ted Levine.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll do it now. Take it easy, everybody.
Toodaloo.